Whenever an attorney or other legal member of staff leaves the firm, they often leave behind a tangled mess of client matter materials within their personal data spaces. In this video, we'll demonstrate how Active Nav Cloud can help you identify the presence of those client matter materials and support the movement of that content into your DMS. In this use case, we'll be focusing on the departed attorney, Megan Bowen, who recently left the firm and was maintaining content in a number of user spaces across the organization. On the screen, you can see the Active Nav Cloud Analyst view. This view allows us to look at slices of through the data arranged around a logical unit. In this case, we've created two logical units representing two departed users, Megan Bowen and Joseph Wright. Let's focus on Megan. And if we look at the locations where Megan was storing data, we can see that down at the bottom here as we've connected those together. She was managing content in Windows File Share, OneDrive Personal Space, her email mailbox and Exchange, and she also had a local user workspace in iManage Cloud environment. What we've been able to do in the Active Nav Cloud service is connect these locations together. That enables us to see an aggregated view of the data for Megan. We've extended the out-of-the-box scoring model to be able to identify client matter materials. If we expand the client matter node, we can see here a list of the clients that Megan was working with. And anywhere we see a non-green indicator is where the tool has identified the presence of client matter materials for those particular clients. We can pick a client and expand the model further to look at individual matters. So for one of the clients that is indicating here, Bauman, Hale, and Sons, we can see that there are a number of active matters where the score is non-green, where we found content for those particular matters. So in this case, there are three matters where we found content because the score is reflecting that. From here, we can use this view to generate a list of responsive files for either individual matters, a client, or an aggregation across all client matter materials found for within Megan's personal spaces. So let's start at the middle case. Let's look at the files that relate to Bauman, Hale, and Sons. We can select that node in the model. We could constrain the locations to an individual repository, but for this example, we'll select all. On the right-hand side, we have the ability to apply additional filters around dates, around size, and any particular object types. We can also restrict the results by the score. In this example, we'll leave those filters alone and we'll generate a list of responsive files. What appears on the screen is a series of charts that relate to the objects that have been found. In this case, at the top right here, we can see that the tool is telling us that there are 12 objects. What's nice here is that we have a matrix of the actual matters and the locations where that content has been found for each individual matter. We can take a look at those objects. Here they are. We've got metadata available for all of the objects that we can scroll along and take a look at. That includes the object name, the type, dates associated to when it was created, last accessed and last modified, and the repository where that object was found. If we select an individual object, we can look a little bit more closely into the matters that were found in that particular object. So here now we're able to drill right down to an individual file level, and you can see for this particular file, it references 3 matters. If we pick a different file here, you'll see that there's only one matter indicated in that particular file. That's the landlord's tenant dispute matter. From here, we could export a list of the objects. This generates a CSV file. This object file can then be handed off to the relevant stakeholder for an action. In this case, it could be to move these files into the DMS. As an alternative, we could generate a review session within Active Nav Cloud and invite reviewers to make determinations about each file in the review set. We can create a review, we give a name. Select an approver and indicate the decisions that the reviewer can mark for each file. So we could have delete, move to DMS, return. That then will create a review package and it will notify the reviewers once that package is available for review. Once the review package has been created, reviewers can come to the review dashboard and select the review for processing. In the review, end users can indicate the review determination for each individual file either in bulk or by selecting individual files. In this case, we will mark the first 3 as moved to DMS. Within this view, users can also understand the scope of duplicates. If we scroll across here, you can see that each file has been given a duplication ID. And if we sort those files by duplication count, we'll be able to see files that have the same duplication ID. In this case here, the top 2 files have the same duplication ID, and if we look at the files themselves, you can see it's the same file just being stored in 2 different locations. Once the review has been complete, it can be forwarded back to the approver, who can indicate their approval by committing the review through the review dashboard.